All right, everybody, welcome back. Ding, ding, ding. This is Ringside Presents Corner Confessions. Once again, y'all remember me. This is Troy Vaughn, also known as Trey Amazing, your favorite part-time stripper, part-time megachurch pastor, but full-time dating commentator. And I am here with somebody great, somebody epic, someone that I recently came across. Just made his association. I have Mr. Jaaion Barnes. He is a chef extraordinaire, and he is doing a big. We're not talking about some little hot pockets in the microwave. We're talking about real bona fide meals, some comfort foods, some foods that are really made to impress. And so I can do an introduction, but I'm gonna let my man Mr. Barnes give his introduction because what I do won't be able to do him justice. So Brother Barnes, please break it down, who you are, what you do, and why you're here today.
Yeah, man, no problem. First things first, did you say part-time stripper and part-time pastor?
I am.
That is a wild introduction. But nonetheless, hey, how y'all doing? My name is Chef Jaaion Barnes. I have been around for a while. I've ran or overseen a lot of your favorite restaurants and lounges in the Atlanta area. So how y'all doing?
Good, good. So check this out, man. People that know this channel, that follow me and follow the channel, know that I'm all about dating, relationships, marriage, sex, and everything in between. And so you being a chef, you know your way around cooking. Well, first and foremost, how long have you been cooking? When did you realize in your life, at what age, that being a cook, being a chef, was going to be your passion?
I mean, we grew up really poor. So I first started cooking when I was like 10 years old. I could scramble eggs. I learned how to make like spaghetti and meat sauce. We was on food stamps, so I just took whatever we had in there. I was really creative with it because we didn't have much. I got my first restaurant job when I was a senior in high school.
Nice.
And I think my junior year in college, I realized I wanted to be a chef, and that's kind of how I went down that road. Mm-hmm. And so I've been working in restaurants my entire adult life.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a lifer, as they say.
You're a lifer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So, check this out. As it relates to, the importance of cooking and, dating, relationships, even marriage. First and foremost, why do you think knowing how to cook is so important when you are, in a relationship or even when you get married?
Well, look, knowing how to cook, again, you don't have to be, high end and glamorous and things of that nature. But knowing how to cook basic things should be a survival for any person, single or not. And that just helps. I mean, you spend so much money on Uber Eats and going out to eat. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can just go to your local grocery store, get enough groceries, make food to last you a few days, and that should carry you over. But at least have basic cooking skills. Scrambled eggs, fried chicken, baked fish. These are things that don't take that much time and effort. So that we can start there. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we'll go from there.
And so for a lot of people, depending on their age, for the baby boomers and even some Gen Xers, growing up, for a lot of people, cooking was considered woman's work. That was something that if you were a woman, that was something that it was vital. It was non-negotiable. You were supposed to do. And so fast forward, in today's age with so many women, who are accomplished, highly educated, getting, these big six-figure jobs, everything, you're seeing a lot of women openly admit that they don't know how to cook.
Right.
Right. A lot of, and unapologetic about it, like, yeah, I don't know how to cook. And so this is something that, back in the day was blasphemous, a woman that didn't know how to cook. But nowadays, it's not, for a lot of men, it's not a deal breaker. Where do you think this is, how do you think this is affecting, relationships and marriages? Because again, I mean, for a lot of women, particularly professional women, a lot of professional women just outright like, look, I don't cook or I don't know how to cook. How do you think this is affecting relationships and dating?
Well, to be honest, I think that notion is a bit antiquated. You know what I mean? Obviously, with the progression of certain movements that we've had, we should not expect a woman to quote unquote be in the kitchen every day, right? But again, having said that, at least know the basics. Or hey, if you don't want to cook and you can afford to eat all the time, go for it. And I'll say this: I was in a relationship a little bit over 10 years ago, and that girl did not cook ever. She cooked for me, I think, one time, and we dated for years. And I did, the food was on me one way or the other. Either I was cooking or I got some food and went out to eat. But she never cooked, and it really wasn't a big deal. I made jokes about it, of course, but it wasn't a deal breaker. She was batshit crazy. That was the deal breaker. But her not cooking, that wasn't a big deal.
So, and just like yourself, I mean, you're a master chef. I mean, you are, you're doing. I've seen some of the work and some of the interviews. You're doing, you're not doing light work. You're doing some great things. And so you're seeing a rise in men who are, master chefs and who are, really doing their thing. And so how does this, for a lot of women, this can be an incredible turn on, for some women to meet a man that actually knows how to cook. And when I say cook, I mean really, throw some shit together in the kitchen and make a superb meal. What do you think, some men, because there are some men who just, still have the mindset, this is a woman's job, I shouldn't know how to cook. What would you say to those guys who may be on the fence or who may be a little, resistant to cooking? Cooking could be a turn on. What would you say to those guys who just like, look, I don't know if this is for me?
Then frankly, you don't have a lot of women in your life, sounds like, because the one thing that men do is we adjust. Like, as great as we know Drake to be as an artist, why do we like Drake really? Because a lot of women like Drake, right? Why do we go to the club and spend $40 to get in and $22 now on Casamigos? People that go outside, y'all know what I'm talking about right now. Why? Because we are doing that to meet women. When we take a woman out, like you're not taking her to Waffle House. You're not taking her to McDonald's. You're taking her to at least a nice restaurant, right? So having that mindset is just ignorant, and that tells me you don't get a lot of women, dog. You know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is. Again, going back to the first thing I said, you don't have to quote unquote cook like me because I dedicated my entire life to the science and knowledge of cooking. So it's not just me throwing Hennessy on some wings. No, there's the different intricacies of cooking. I dedicated my life to learn that. But again, as a guy, bro, just you doing the basic cooking will go miles with the woman that you're trying to court, that you're serious about. So just keep that in mind.
I agree, because I'm like, it gets to a certain point, like, I don't care if you're a grown man, woman. Look, you can throw out some chicken, throw some seasoning on it, and put it in the oven.
It's not hard, dog.
Like, it's not hard,
No.
And you should be able to tell, like, when you get out the oven if it's done or not. I mean, certain things past a certain point, I'm like, look, that's just basic. It gets to a point where for some people, I'm like, look, no, you're just being lazy. I understand, like, you may not know how to, cook up an entire Thanksgiving or Christmas meal on your own, but certain things, I would say, look, you're just being lazy at this point.
And that would be one of them. So yeah, to my fellas out there, if you're not willing to do that, then that tells me you don't get girls because you're not adjusting to the times and the climate and what it takes to meet a woman within reason, of course. You don't roll out the red carpet on the first date, but you do want to put some sort of effort. And first off, if she's even at your house for you to cook, like, that's a good thing. And so we need to take that next step.
Why do you think cooking is so attractive? I mean, at least even for me, in my young years, to have a woman cook for me, stuff like that. It's like, wow, that's those straight up brownie points. It's like, but from your standpoint, someone, blood, sweat, and tears are with you in the kitchen when you're making, the dishes you're making. But as far as regardless if it's dating or in a relationship, why do you think that is so impressive and so attractive? What's so attractive about someone saying, look, let me cook for you?
I was on YouTube yesterday, right? And it was in my algorithms. It was this little buff white guy. He was in like chopping wood or something like that, and it had like 10 million views, and it had just came out a week ago. And it was women in the comments, I followed themselves trying, making comments about the guy. And I watched it, and I'm like, it was nothing special, but hey, clearly he has an audience, right? And so I use that example to say, men working is a thing. Us cooking, obviously playing sports, a man handling business, chopping wood, lifting weights, like, that's all sexy. Like, that's women's lingerie. Like, most of us can't walk around in lingerie. But if they see us doing those type of activities, and cooking is manly, clearly, so that gives you a leg up. So that's why it's important. And even if you don't cook, like quote unquote a chef, you can do other things like if your woman or a woman sees you fixing a toilet or fixing something, that's manly.
Like fix some shit.
Yeah, like, but it has to be you exerting energy into something. Nowadays we're dating, we're real big on energy, and cooking is probably one of the more intimate forms of energy that you can convey with your woman or woman that you're trying to date. Or significant other, depending on your preference.
Have some utility, have some function.
Yeah, man.
And something that will advance the relationship or dating. I feel you. So, in your opinion, how does cooking, once, well, let me backtrack for a second. When would you say, you meet someone you're dating, not even in a full-blown relationship yet? When do you feel like it's too soon to invite someone over your house to cook for them?
All right, I'll say this. In my younger years, that was my go-to. Like, hey, I'm a chef, right? And that will be my go-to line to get them back to the house. To be honest with you, as I've gotten older, it's the last thing I talk about. We talk, and I kind of beat around the bush. I said I work in the restaurant industry, and they say, "Oh, what do you do?" And I say, I cook a little bit. They're like, "Oh, you're a chef," and then from there, the curiosity picks up. For me, and for most people, it's about how you feel and energy. If I meet somebody, we kick it. We'll normally go out someplace, and I have a rule, with fellas, on your first date, it should not be over $80 on your first date.
Oh, why is that?
Because you don't want to go on a quote unquote $200 date, because you don't want to set that precedence, because you're not gonna do it every time anyway. And what's the main thing that women complain about? Consistency. He not being consistent. So we're gonna consistently use this $80 to take your ass out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it work. But
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And it's not being cheap. You're just being considered. Because $80, you can still have a good time.
You're damn right. You can have a great time.
So you know what I mean. Like, Atlanta ain't that expensive. So for my fellas, you want to keep that first date reasonable, because it's not about you trying to be a big baller. Because the more money spent on a woman, the less she like you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you need to pull that card away. Show her that you can, first of all, afford to take her out, that you got your stuff together, and you're worrying about her instead of trying to impress her, because she's going to be focused on, okay, I can get the lobster. I get the lobster thermidor. I can get a bottle of champagne. I can do this. Ooh, I got a sweet lick. Now she's not looking at you like a man. She's looking at you like a meal ticket. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that would be my advice. Now, I know women are going to be mad at me for saying that, but we got to keep it real,
Oh no, we definitely gonna be blunt and explicit here, because I think you just dropped some mad jewels of knowledge right there. Because I agree, I do agree. I never thought about it that way, but fellas, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you remember that, because that was some dope shit. That was dope info. Really quickly, if you're out there, make sure you find the Ringside group on Facebook. Go to the search bar at the very top, type in Ringside LLC, join the private Facebook group, and request to join, and either myself or one of the admins will admit you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And so, let me just say this. So, in what ways, we're past the dating, the men and women took your advice, and now they're in a full-blown, straight-up relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, man, whatever you want to call it, whatever relationship looks like, whomever's involved. Mm-hmm. How do you think couples learning to cook together, or just being in the kitchen together, how does that strengthen a relationship, or how does that, galvanize intimacy?
Well, if you think about it, some of our fondest memories come from in the kitchen, come from our grandparents, from a mother, father, whoever in the kitchen cooking. Think about some really good memories as I'm saying this, and think back. And a lot of those memories come from being in the kitchen. The smell and the cutting and the chopping, and then we finally get to eat and things of that nature. One of the better dates I've been on was we actually, this girl I was dating, we actually went to a cooking class. Although I'm a chef. It was a cooking class. It was great. It was dope. And it gave us a chance to be interactive, because that's why when you go on dates, you shouldn't do another one. You shouldn't go on dinner and a movie on the first date. You should do something more interactive, because the average woman nowadays wants to be entertained.
Right. I do agree. Yeah, the movie thing on a date, at least on a first date. No, I don't do that.
Because she has her phone with her because she's looking at Instagram or looking to film something because she wants to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you quote unquote entertain her, now you have her attention. Now you can kind of like, you know what I'm saying, spit your game. So the cooking class, something like that was a really good date I went on. And so now that you're in a relationship, obviously you want to keep dating the person that you're not in a relationship with. So that cooking together sometimes, and not all the time, because there's times where, you know, couples be like, get the hell out the kitchen, let me fry this damn chicken. But then there's other times y'all want to make lasagna or pasta together. Like that's a real bonding. That's really intimate without having to be naked or be laying in the bed, you know?
I feel that. I like that. So before we wrap this up, and again, this has been some awesome.
What, already? God damn it. Wait, can we curse on here?
Oh yes, I curse all the time.
All right, god damn it. All right,
Yes.
you go ahead, man.
So before we cut things out, I want to give you the opportunity because you just dropped some jewels of knowledge that people and the viewers and subscribers, I hope they apply this. You know, I hope they apply this to their dating. I hope they apply this to the relationship because, again, if you're in a relationship, regardless of what it looks like, cooking is going to come up. You know, who's going to cook? Or for some people, if you just, you know, if you're out there trying to date and court, you may either you yourself or you may come across someone that may say, hey, come over, let me cook for you. You know, let me cook a meal for you. It's going to come up. So for the people that may want to follow you or may want to, you know, get a chance to test these, you mentioned Hennessy and wings. So already picking some curiosity out there. For the people that want to follow you, how can they get in touch with you? Get, you know, your social media, your website, Tumblr, billboards, you know, what part of town you cook on, what restaurant. How can they get in contact with you?
Cool. So look, my MySpace page. No, my the best way to follow what I have going on is my Instagram, which is Chef Jaaion, and you could put, you know, the tag in there in this part while I'm talking. But my Instagram page, that's the main vehicle to catch me on. And again, I do a lot of consulting for different clubs. I'm going to have a Mardi Gras pop-up brunch coming up soon. I'll put that out on my Instagram page, and I also give it to you so you can put it out, spread it to your people. And then I do a lot of filming. We're putting out different videos from a series I have called Culture and Culinary. So I interviewed so far, you know, Candy Burris, Michael Blackson, Gary Owens, and, you know, Manny Fresh, things of that nature. And I'm putting out videos now. The next one will be Camille Winbush, aka Vanessa from the Bernie Mac show. So that one's coming out in the next couple of days.
I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, man. So that, and you'll like that video a lot because we did that in California. We had this beautiful setup, and you'll really like that. So, but to get back to your original question, yeah, follow me on Instagram at Chef Jaaion, and you know, just enjoy the food and the cinematography.
Indeed, everybody out there, you know, this has been, you know, sitting here, I'm learning some shit. I'm learning something like, yeah, you know, he kind of right there. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, regardless if you are dating, regardless if you're in a relationship, this is useful information. And again, it's 2022. If you talking about you don't cook or you can't cook, that's just flat out lazy. You can thaw out some chicken, throw some salt and pepper on it, throw some Lowry's or do something to it.
You're not successful in dating if you have that approach, because if you're lazy with that, then you're lazy with everything else. You're lazy in your communication, you're lazy in your effort, man or woman, not just the men, but, you know, fellas, you know, dating is expensive for a guy, right? And so we have to be judicious in how we spend our time and our money, because both are equally important. You know what I mean? My fellas, you know the feeling. That's why I say keep your spending to $80. You know when you took a girl out that you think you like, and that tab come 120, 130, and then the date wasn't even all that. Her communication janky, she high key flaky, and you sitting there like, dang, I just spent this. You know, like, so as a man, we have to be the adult in the room to discern when and who we spend our time and resources with, and heaven forbid the date doesn't go the way you want, not to complain or text or cry about it. You know, so the cooking helps out with that. You know. You have to put women in different situations and see. And, you know, I always say this. I always tell women it's like, the more places a guy can take you, that's good. If you a club rat, he only could take you to the club. That's how he gonna treat you. But if he could take you to the club, to the museum, to vacation, around his people, here, well, now you wifey. But
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, but if he can only take you to the club, only can take you to a lounge, guess what you is? You the jump off. You know what I'm saying?
See, and look, I think we've all been there. I mean, I'm really digging the $80 standard because again,
$80. But I said that, bro.
Yeah, no, because I certainly, you know, you made me have some flashbacks. I know what it's like to see that tab. It's like, damn, over 120. I've been there because again, you can't. It don't look right on the first date.
No.
You take a woman to someplace hella fancy with a dress code, you spend 150 or even more, you can't go from that and then the next day take it to Chili's or Applebee's. That's not a good look.
I'll tell you this story. This was like, I was in my 20s at the time, and so it was a lot of mistakes I made. I was working, I think, at Cheesecake Factory at the time. I was a line cook, getting ready to be a little kitchen manager. And this server I thought was so fine at the time, I had to take her out. So this is some people that have been living in Atlanta for a while. It was a spot called Strip in Atlantic Station, right? And so I think I might have had to my name $80 until I got paid that Tuesday. And I took the girl out. And so what did she order? The $36 ribeye. At the time, I'm like, what am I gonna do? And so I didn't even order anything. I said, I just ate and it didn't agree with my stomach. I played it off. I drank water while she had a martini in that steak. And
you start itemizing everything
like,
she
man,
ordered.
Look. And you know what? I think I got like a $5 tip because I had no money. So by the time I went home, I had like $27 left for like till I got paid 3 days on like that Tuesday, and it was a Friday. And I felt like shit. And I learned from that moment, like, okay, first of all, if your money ain't right, you don't need to be out there. You need to go work.
You're damn right.
And so, but then you control where you take the girl. That's why on the first date, take her somewhere that's vibey, that's cool, where she can kind of get her videos off. But you're not taking her to New York Prime or Route Chris because she's going to not respect you. Again, the more money you spend on a woman, the less she respects you. So, but that concludes my TED Talk, y'all.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, Brother Barnes. Thank you so much. This has been Ringside's Corner Confessions. Make sure you like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And we are out.
See y'all. Peace.
Peace.